Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach, and today I'm talking about, do you feel them pulling away? Right, so if you're dating someone and you feel like they are pulling away from you and it feels like they could be losing interest in you, the best thing that you can really do is match and mirror their actions, right? So let's say it takes them ages to reply to your message. Well, if it takes them ages to reply to your message, then you should also take ages to reply to their message, right? So it's a good idea to actually look at your phone, right? And look at the messages that you guys have been sending back and forth. And if you're the one that's sending the longer messages, the more frequent messages, if you're the one that's always initiating the conversation, then you need to go and start doing what they're doing, right? How often do they reply to you? How long are their messages, right? Start matching and mirroring their behavior, okay? Because when you back off, if they are still attracted to you, right, they will want to close the gap because they can see that you're giving them lots of space. And if they want to be close to you, then they're going to have to close that space themselves, right? And that they'll do that by reaching out to you and by initiating with you, right? And maybe even asking you to meet up with them, okay? So essentially, you want to get them worried like how you're worried. Because if you found a video like this one, then you're probably worried that you're losing this person, okay? So you need to make them feel the same emotion, right? So then you know then, because that's what it gives you. It gives you clarity, right? Because if they care about you and they're attracted to you, they will be worried about losing you as well. If they feel like they're losing you, okay? So the way that you do that is by matching and mirroring their actions. And you do what they're doing to you, okay? Because then you'll be able to see if they care. And if they don't care, then you'll just never hear from them again, right? So it gives you that clarity that you need without actually having to ask them, right? Because one of the reasons why they may be pulling back and it seems like they're losing interest in you is because perhaps they have totally lost interest in you. And perhaps they're not brave enough, or they're too worried basically to actually say to you, look, I'm not as interested anymore. So what they're doing is they're backing off and hoping that you're going to get the message, right? And read between the lines and see that, hey, maybe this person isn't as interested in me. Maybe I should just leave them alone, right? So when you start backing off as well, what will happen is with the person that's not interested in you, they'll start backing off even further, and then everything will just eventually fizzle out, right? But if they like you and they're still attracted to you, once they notice that you're backing off, they're going to have to now start putting in the effort and start reaching out to you more, and that will give you the answer that you're searching for. Because if they like you, if they want to be around you, they will do more, and then you'll know, because they'll start messaging you more, start asking about you more, and then you'll be like, oh, great, now I know they actually do like me, but perhaps I was just messaging too much, perhaps I was becoming a bit too needy. So when they do reach out to you, then all you need to do then is to arrange to hang out with them. Just be like, oh, it's great to hear from you, I'm doing really well, when are you free to hang out? Right? When they start doing that, so you can start rekindling things, you can start dating again, start seeing each other, because that's what you want. You want to be seeing each other physically, right, again, which may have already happened in the past. Let's say you went on a couple of dates, you thought things were going really well, and then suddenly they start becoming distant. Right, so when they start reaching out to you again after you've become distant, you can start rekindling things, asking, when they reach out to you, ask them when they're free to hang out. And then if they like you, then they still like you and they're still interested, they'll tell you when they're available, and then you can hang out again, right? And start dating again, start seeing each other physically again. So it's always a great thing to say when someone you like reaches out to you, hey, when are you available to hang out, right? And then you wait for their response, because if they like you, they're going to tell you when they're available. If they don't like you, they're not going to tell you when they're available, or what they'll do is they will say when they're available, arrange a date with you, but they'll back out at the last minute, right? But if they arrange it, if they tell you when they're available and they actually show up to that date that you've arranged with them, then you know that you've got them back and that things are going to, continue to progress well, as long as you, stick to not over pursuing. And because one of the reasons why they might have been put off you is because perhaps you became too needy, started messaging too much, became too familiar. So then you stop doing that and you go back to what you was doing before when they were interested. Okay. So obviously by doing something like this, so matching, mirroring what they do, you can actually lose them if they're not interested, right? But are you, if you're losing someone because they're not interested, you're not really losing them, right? You're actually winning. You're not losing anything. You're winning because you are discovering whether this person wants to be in your life or not, right? And you want people that want to be in your life. So when these people fall away that don't actually want to be there, you actually win because then you're left with the people that really do want to be there, okay? You see. Right, I know it can be difficult than that though. I know it can be heart-wrenching, especially if you're really super, super into them, right? And it does sting, it does hurt when someone that you like, just doesn't like you back or stops liking you, right? It hurts, it stings, not nice, right? But unfortunately, these things do happen, and there's not really a lot we can do about it, right? Apart from matching and mirroring, because maybe that can rectify the situation, but only if they still like you, okay? But if you lose them, if they're not interested in you anymore, then maybe you actually want something. Maybe you actually, because now you have room now in your life for someone who actually really wants to be there, okay? And you want someone who really wants to be there, okay? It's much easier when you have life, right? And it's just filled with people that want to be there, rather than these difficult situations where you're trying to fight for someone's attention. It's so tiring and exhausting to be around someone that doesn't want to be there, and you're trying to fight for them to be there, and you really want them to want you, and it's just not happening. It's tiring, it's exhausting, it's mentally draining, and it's also heartbreaking. You want to be around people that actually want to be there because it's easier, okay? And it's nicer. So learn from any mistakes that you made and chalk it up to experience, because sometimes it could be the fact that maybe you became too needy, became too familiar, and that's why they started to back off. You can usually tell by, looking back over your correspondence with them if you got too needy. Now, that's not always the case. Perhaps it was just the fact that maybe they just didn't like you enough. They liked you a little bit to begin with, but they got to know you and then they realised that they wasn't really that into you. Sometimes that can happen, right? And that's okay, because sometimes we can meet someone and think, oh yeah, they're really great on their profile. You may even go on a couple of dates with them and still think they're really great. And then after a while, you realise, actually, you know what? This just isn't for me. Everyone has that experience with everybody. You may have met a friend, right? And you thought, oh yeah, me and Jerry, we really get along. We're really good pals. And then after a couple of more experiences together, you realise, hey, you know what? Nah, I'm not really too keen on this guy. So sometimes things like that can happen. And it's absolutely okay for that kind of thing to happen. So don't worry about it. This is just a learning curve, right? Chalk it up to that. Chalk it up to, okay, not everyone's going to be into me. Some people may be into me to begin with, and then they may start not liking me because they've spent enough time with me and they now realise that they don't. And that's okay, because I've had experiences like that as well. I thought, oh yeah, this person's really great. And then after a while, I find out, I'm not actually that keen on being friends with them or being around them or being into them romantically. I don't want to see them again in that way, right? We've all had experiences like that, and it's okay for someone to feel that way about you, because we all have different preferences, different likes and dislikes, and it's okay because we're all individuals, we're all different human beings. We can't be everyone's cup of tea. If you want to get better understanding at dating and relationships, and because maybe you just don't understand the opposite sex and you'd like to learn more about that, then I have my 10 recommended books for my viewers and my clients. So I highly recommend that you go and check that out. It'll be in the description of this video. There's 5 books there that are for dating and relationships, and then there's another 5 which is for personal success and personal development, right? So if you are interested in learning about those kinds of different things, then I highly recommend that you go and check out those books, because they'll help you fill in your knowledge gaps about these different areas. Okay, if you're only interested in the dating and relationship ones, then go for those ones first. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christinloveridge.com. If there's anything you'd like me to discuss in a video, then please leave it down in the comments. Thank you so much, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye, guys.